Well, I'm glad to be back, everyone, doing a podcast. I want to let you know I was going to start this in 2024, but I was inspired by a man yesterday in the produce section at the grocery store, an individual that I've known for a little bit. His name's Paul Wegener, and he had lost a child a year ago. An amazing, amazing man, young man, 21 years old, I believe Lucas was, Lucas Wegener. And I was so inspired by Paul yesterday that's the reason why I am recording this today, getting it done early, because here is an individual, an amazing man that is a year out from losing just his boy, an incredible, incredible young boy. And he's out there working with other men that have had losses in their life. He's out there working with younger boys that have had trauma and tragedy in their life, doing wonderful things for them. And it just motivated me. It motivated me tremendously that here was an individual that was contributing and going out there and making a difference with the loss that he had. And it inspired me, and he was inspiring. And I have to say that his son, Lucas, was one of those young individuals, those young men that when you left being with him, you felt incredibly, incredibly privileged to spend time with him, to be with him. He was so mature. He was such a kind, gentle, yet masculine man. He was wonderful. I was able to sell him his first home when he was 19 years old, and then he sold it a couple years later with me. And he had made a pretty good profit on it and was going to go and venture on in life until he was tragically killed. So in an accident. And just a tragedy, but Paul inspired me yesterday, and I'm not sure if he's going to be listening to this, but thank you, Paul, if you are, for giving me that inspiration. You're an incredible father, an incredible man. You and Debbie have done such a wonderful job with your kids, and we need more men like you in this world. 100%, that's the truth. So I just thank you for inspiring me to get back going in the way that I like to contribute, in the way that I like to help individuals, if they are able to listen to this. If you can just get something out of this, something that kind of a little nugget that can maybe set you towards a different path or a different direction, or just a little adjustment. So the focus of this podcast is being connected to God, focusing on our relationship with Him. That's what our focus I wanted my life to be. For so long, it was different. It was more about achieving and hitting goals and, getting things and accumulation and things like that. When you get a certain age, you start to realize futility a little bit, and that stuff does not satisfy. It's nice, but it can't be where your heart is, and it can't be where your focus is. So this podcast, Into His Eyes, Hand in His, is about that, keeping our focus on our relationship with God every single day, that connection, and then moving through the day, walking through the day, hand in His, being guided and being directed. Excuse me. Maybe we can edit that out. I'm getting back into podcasting, so technically and all these different things, I need to get good at it again. I'm not sure if I was ever necessarily good at it, but I'm sure there's maybe a way that we can edit that cough out. So thank you so much for listening. One of the things in regards to that, with Lucas inspired me to get going in this podcast again was I wrote down, I got this leather journal, this really kind of hip, cool leather journal. And I love what Jim Rohn, R-O-H-N, used to say is be a buyer of empty books, be a buyer of empty journals, and then go out and live your life and learn and experience things, so then you can put that knowledge, put those experiences in those journals. And so I like to do that. I used to do that a lot, and I do it from time to time, but I figure the cooler the looking journal, the more I may carry it around and actually use it and put some stuff in it. So one of the things that I wrote the other day that I want to share with you on this podcast, this first one kind of coming back, I'm not sure if this is episode 6 or 7 of this particular podcast, but is how we give love and how we receive love will determine the quality of our life and the relationships in it. Let me say that again. How we give and how we receive love will determine the quality of our life and the relationships in them. And I want you to think about that. How well do you give love to others? How well do you do that? How well do you show love? How well do you give others love? And love is a verb. It's an action. It's not a feeling. We know that. We should know that anyways. So how will we do that? But just as much on the other side is how well do we receive love from others? And that's important as well. And the reason why that is important, because a couple things. If we're not able to receive love well, we're robbing that other individual that's trying to show us love, that's serving us, really that ability to do that. And then we're also robbing ourselves of being nourished and our souls feeling what hopefully should be felt is feeling loved or taking in the benefit of that if we're not able to receive it well. You know, if somebody is loving us and serving us and we have this mindset of not being able to receive that well because of whatever it may be, and this is where we need to look at our life of past wounds and hurts and trauma and father wounds and mother wounds and different things that we may deal with when we were growing up, because so much of our life is shaped by those years where in our family and the history of that. We need to be able to look at that. We need to be able to go in deep, and which leads me to another thing that I wrote down. I said the ability to look inside oneself and see and explore what may need to be explored is a scary task for most. Too often is it a task or a place most avoid willingly or unwillingly, choosing instead to be entertained by viewing the lives of others. So I want you to think about that. Willingly or unwillingly, sometimes we don't want to look at and examine our life, but it's so necessary to be able to do that, to be able to grow, because when we don't, we're not able to grow. We're not able to learn how to love others better and how to receive love, which really, and as I get older in life, don't know that there's too much more to it that is as important as that, right? We can accumulate things, and yes, we need to work hard, and yes, we need to be motivated or ambitious in certain things and provide for our family, for but ultimately it comes down, I feel, to our connection with God spiritually. How are we doing spiritually? And our connection with others, our relationships, right? That's what matters the most. When we're at the end of our life, we're not going to look back at all the different things that we maybe accumulated. What we're hoping at the end of the life is we look back and we can remember the experiences that we had with others, the relationships that we had with others, the way that we loved and the way that we were able to receive love. That's going to be most important, and that should be most important in our life. And how do we move through it every single day, understanding that? Understanding that it's incredibly important. But if we're not willingly able to, or making the choice to look inside, because it affects us, guys. It affects us, right? Life is hard. It's the ups and the downs. It's the challenges, and how well we're able to, like I said, love God and love others through the challenges. It's very easy to love maybe another person, or it's very easy to feel love when everything is going well in your life, right? It's not that hard. Like if you feel good, if everything is going well in your family, in your health, in your finances, you just feel good. So it's just, a lot of times it's just easier, right? But how do you love and how do you receive love when things aren't going that well? See, I think that's the trick. I think that's the challenge. And what happens is when things don't go well in our life, that's when a lot of stuff comes up, a lot of past hurt, a lot of past trauma. And a lot of times then it comes up is how do we deal with it, right? Because a lot of addiction is how we deal with the pain in our life. And life is painful. So what do? A lot of times what we do is we go to different addictions like alcohol. We go to workaholism. We go to sexual addiction. We go to social media addiction. We go to phone addiction. It's a big thing. And you see that, guys, every single day. I mean, just try it. I'm not sure where you are in your life, but try to be 10 feet away from your phone, or put your phone away somewhere in the house and not have it right next to you for 15 minutes, 20 minutes. See how you feel. See how you feel. If you're good, if you can put it somewhere and not think about it, not worry about it, maybe turn it off at a certain time of night, this and that. But if you always are feeling that constant need to check it or look at it or be on it, that's an addiction. It has you. It has you. And so we need to be aware of that. We need to watch out for that. So I think that's it for today. I want to keep these short, these podcasts, maybe 10 to 15 minutes, but hopefully that helps. You know, how well are you at giving love? How well are you at receiving love? That's the big thing, I think, receiving love. Think about that, because a lot of times that's something that doesn't get looked at. And then how well are you at choosing to look inside and make the adjustments, right? How often do you find yourself going to the social media or going to other things to avoid this inner search that you need to do? It's you need to be aware of it. It's so important. I need to be aware of my life. And really, guys, it was about 5 years ago that I was forced to do that, right? That everything came crashing down in my life, that I said, you know what? Okay, I don't have a choice. I need to do the 12 steps. I need to go to groups. I need to get counseling. I need to get EMDR. I need to get all this stuff done from all these past hurts and traumas and wounds that I never dealt with when I was younger growing up, things that I've happened to me, things that I've seen, things that I experienced. We're pretty rough. We're pretty bad. And we all have those things in our life. Our life a lot of times isn't perfect. Most of the time it isn't for any of us. So we need to learn how to deal with those. And the beauty of life, I think, the beauty of life is we can continue to grow inside, right? We're all getting older. If you're watching this video, I'm getting a little grayer. But inside we can continue to grow, and we continue to work on our connection with God and work on our connection with others. And how we do that, we can continue to grow and be more beautiful on the inside. And then we're able to show that out to others. So hopefully that helped, guys. Thank you for listening to this podcast. If you like it, share it. Another thing I want to say is I'm not going to be on social media that much. I'll post this stuff on there to kind of market the podcast and the different things that I want to contribute. But if you ever need to communicate to me or contact me, call me directly. I know my cell phone number is out there all over the place. Or email me. I know that's out there all over the place. But don't just message me on Facebook or this and that, and then get irritated that he must not care because he didn't get back to me. Hopefully it's because I didn't see it, because I'm not hanging out there that much. I'm just trying to put good stuff out there that people can consume, and then reach out to me, though, privately, not on social media. So you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day or evening, and thank you for listening to this podcast. Share it with another individual if you like and enjoy and you think it'll benefit, and I will looking forward to getting the next one out. Thanks, guys.